Hi lads, in this video I'm going to go through page 51 of your activity booklet. It tells us each question above contains a 3D graphic of a solid and a corresponding orthographic projection showing the plan, elevation and end view. The surfaces of the given solids have been labelled in the 3D graphic. Identify and label the surfaces indicated by the grey circles on the corresponding orthographic projections. Surface A on the first question has been completed. So, in the last set of activities, we will have learnt about the elevation and the plan, where the elevation is what we see when we're looking at the front of the object. So this view here, what we see when we're looking at the front. So surface A there, which is drawn in, you can see that shape on the outline. So if I put an arrow in there, I call that the elevation, or as they say in the book as well, doesn't matter what way you put it, the front elevation. We learned that when we look down straight on top of it, such as a bird's eye view, that's the plan. On this sheet they introduce a new thing called the end view or end elevation. That's when we look in at the other side. So they call it there the end elevation, or you can call it the end view as well. So in this one here, our elevation is looking in this side here, so I'm just going to put elevation here just to label my views. What we see looking down is the plan. So in orthographic projection, the plan always goes directly below the elevation. So you can see there the widths are staying the same all the way across. It doesn't get any longer going that way. It stays the exact same. Then this view here, we have our end view or our end elevation, whatever way you want to call it. So for the first one here, we're going to look at it. So A is already completed for us. We can see there arrow A is there. And also it's pointing at the side of it here. So when we look at the when we look at the end view here, this surface here appears as a line. So unless we actually turn around, we're only going to see it as a line there. So that's basically looking in at A. So if we look then at our next view, our plan, if we look down on top of it, we can see there that D is that white surface at the back, and C is the surface at the front. Then we look at our end view, or our end elevation. What we see when we look in this way, we can see this small rectangle at the bottom, that's B, and then we can see the one above it is D. And all that's left then is to point out in the other views the actual edges that are drawn. So in our elevation looking in this way, this line here is pointing at this edge here. So D. This is pointing down at C. And if we were to look in this direction, which is basically our end view, we would see B there. And remember, it's the exact same in plan. If we're looking at the front of it there, we're going to see B there as well. So that completes the first one. For the next one, I'm going to do the same idea again. There's our elevation. There's our plan. And there's our end view. I'll label them here as well. Elevation is looking in this way. Our end view is looking in this way. And our plan, what do we see when we look straight down on top of it? So the elevation, looking in this way, there's our elevation there. We can tell it's our elevation because it has the whole outline copying that one there. And that's A. This surface here, that edge, is this one here, and C is on that one. For our plan, looking directly down, we can see D is there, we can see C is there, and B is looking at the front here. So this line here is this line here. That's also this line as well. So you can see B being there. Then for the end view, when we look in this way, the bottom rectangle is going to be B, and the top one is going to be C. And if we look along here, if we look in this way here, it's telling us what view do we see at the side, we can see A. When we look in there, the side looking in that way is going to be A. For the third one, same idea again. Get into the habit of actually labeling our views and getting comfortable with them. Our elevation, plan and end view. And it's not necessarily always going to be elevation here and end view here. You'll see later in the chapter, it might tell you elevation is this way and the end view is that way. and that will change the position of these two views here, and it might move that over there as well. But just for now, we're actually being told if we look in this way, there's our elevation and end views. I'm just going to tell you now this is the way it's going to be, and later on in the chapter you'll understand why this one is called the elevation and not this one. And once again, I'm going to label my views here. So elevation, plan always goes underneath, and then our end view is there. So that's the main reason I'm able to tell. Plan always goes below the elevation. So without even labeling it, I know that's the elevation because the drawing below it is the plan. If that view was turned around and over here, then this would be the elevation, because the elevation always goes above the plan. So same idea again. We look here, we have this outline, that's going to be A. We look down top here, that's edge there is going to be E. This slope is for the surface D, and this line going across here is for where C is. And then if we look at the front of it, what do we see there? We can see that line there. Sorry, that rectangle there is going to be B, and it represented as a line. Because when we look in this way, we can only see an edge of it there, that line there. So going down to our plan, you can see E here, and it's D, and it's C, and once again B is that surface looking at the front of it there. For our end view, if we look in this way, the bottom we can see is B, above that it's D, sorry, D is there, and then the actual top surface there is going to be E. For the fourth one, once again labeling my elevation, my plan, my end view, and then drawing in my arrows. So looking at the top, it's the plan. Looking on this side, it's the end view. And looking here is the elevation. Same idea again. This surface here is this surface here. That's A. When we look down on top of it, the first thing we can see here is E. That little square there looks like a rectangle, just turned at an angle, just makes it look shorter. It's going to be B. And then if we look down on top at the front section, we see D. If we're looking at this side here, which is going to be this line here, that's going to be C. Looking down top of it, we can see that shape there. That's giving us E. D is this here. And once again, looking at the front of it there, looking at that side, you see C. Then, the end view. Bottom one, C. Looking in then what's above C is going to be B. And then if we look straight down on top of it, that line there is going to be this line here. That gives us E. And we're looking from this side here. So if we're looking this way, and this side here is coming in, that's showing us the surface A. For the bottom two then, I'll just move this up so you can see it. Once again, drawing our arrows. That's our plan. That's our elevation. That's our end view. So elevation, what goes below the elevation, it's always going to be the plan, and the end view always goes beside that there. So when we look at the elevation, and we're looking this way, the bottom thing we can see first there is A. Above that, you see that surface there, B, and what's on the very top when we look down on it, it's going to be E, and this slope surface here is going to be D. When we're looking at this side, it's going to be C. So you can see there D is connecting to C there, so that's why C is going in. So the plan goes directly below it. If we look in that way, we're going to see the same thing here, we're going to see C. And our plan view, that line there is actually this surface here, which is D. Behind that is E, and in front of that is going to be F. Then if we look at our end view, what we see looking in this way here, bottom half we can see C. To the left of that we can see D above. To the right of that, if we look directly down on top, we can see this surface here, F. And then directly above D, when we look down, we can see E. And then if we were to be looking in this way, and what side is this looking in here? It's the side A. So this line here is basically this surface here, looking at the side of it. And for the last one, plan, the elevation, the end view again. So once again, labeling my views. I know it's repetitive, but it's good practice to remember which view is which, and it helps when you're actually solving it. So once again, we're going to look at the elevation. So we're looking in the front view here. That backwards L is surface A. That triangular surface there is B. And where the edge of A is, which is this line here, what do we see when we're looking at this side of it here? It's C. If we look directly down, that line there is this line here. That's surface E. And if we look directly down, above A at this section here, that line there is this one, and G is above that. For the plan, C is there, that means C automatically goes there as well. When we look down top, we can see a rectangle going this way is G, and then 2 going this way are E and F going in that direction there. So E at the back, F at the front. If we look at the end view, this side here, we can see this bottom rectangle first is C. This square to the right above it is D. So we actually need to label that. Oh no, it is just that section there. It's hard to see that line. And there's another circle here. That's showing E. What's above D on this side? G. And if we look in and we see this shape here on the outline, you can see there. So this line here extending back and going up is basically like this one going straight up. A is on that side there. So hopefully that video helps anybody who may have been stuck on that. The only thing we're learning new here is basically what our end view is. So we learned the last time our elevation is what we see looking at the front. Our plan, if I move this down, is what we see looking directly down top of it. And then our last view looking in this way is going to be our end view. So it's like another version of our elevation, except looking in an opposite side instead. And then we put the three of those together and we get a thing called orthographic projection, where we draw all of our three views, what they look like flattened out on a piece of paper, going from 3D to 2D. And we'll be looking at that in more detail in upcoming sheets. So the main thing to understand is here is trying to be able to identify which part is which, so that when you draw it later on it'll become easier. So hopefully that video helps. If anybody's stuck on anything, let me know on Teams and I'll be able to help you then from there.